evening and welcome to the news tonight. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting at the day's top stories from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj holds bilateral talks with Pakistani Prime Minister's advisor on Foreign Affairs Sharma Aziz at the SAARC meet in Nepal. Joint investigation team to arrive for probe into Pathankot attack. No bidders for the Kingfisher building in Mumbai. Finance Minister Arun Jaitely says all government agencies will make efforts to recover the dues owed by businessman Vijay Mallya. Congress says it has played its part for the smooth running of Parliament in the first half of the budget session, claims credit for the bills passed in Rajya Sabha, raises questions on the foreign policy of the NDA government. And US President Barack Obama imposes fresh sanctions on North Korea after the nuclear test and satellite launch. Executive order imposes a ban on exports and investments. Well, starting with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's meeting that she held, the bilateral talks, in fact, with Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's advisor on Foreign Affairs Sharma Aziz on the sidelines of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation or SAARC ministerial meeting in Pokhara in Nepal. It was the first official dialogue with each other after the January 2016 Pathankot air base terror attack.
A joint investigation team from Pakistan will reach India to investigate the terror attack at the Pathankot air base. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj said this after her bilateral meeting with Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor on Foreign Affairs Sharma Aziz. The two leaders met on the sidelines of the 37th South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation Council of Ministers session in Nepal.
पठानकोट की बात भी हमारी हुई और मुझे खुशी है कि जो इतने दिनों से आप प्रतीक्षा कर रहे थे जेआईटी कब आएगी, जॉइंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन टीम की कोई तारीख तय हुई या नहीं हुई, तो वो तारीखें भी तय हो गई हैं। 27 तारीख की रात को जॉइंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन टीम भारत पहुंचेगी और 28 तारीख से अपना काम शुरू करेगी।
Aziz also extended an invitation to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the SAARC summit in Islamabad city later this year. He hoped the bilateral cooperation will increase progress in the Pathankot case.
जिस तरीके से पठानकोट के इश्यूज को हैंडल किया गया है, जिस तरीके से कोऑपरेशन हुई है और अब जेआईटी वहां जा रही है, इसका बहुत मेरा ख्याल है कि इस सब्जेक्ट पे जिस तरह की कोऑपरेशन शुरू हुई है उसके अच्छे मुस्बत नताइज निकलेंगे।
Aziz also said that Prime Minister Modi and his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif could meet on the sidelines of a nuclear security summit in Washington next month.
इस महीने के आखिर में 31 मार्च को प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब भी वॉशिंगटन जा रहे हैं, नवाज शरीफ साहब भी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी भी जा रहे हैं, नवाज शरीफ साहब भी वहां जा रहे हैं, तो उम्मीद तो है कि दोनों की मुलाकात होगी।
It was the first ministerial level talks between the two countries after Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed attacked the airbase in January this year. 7 soldiers were killed and 22 others injured. The attack stalled hopes of revived peace talks between the nations after Modi met Sharif in a surprise visit to Pakistan in December 2015. With Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Thursday inaugurated the meeting of the 37th SAARC Council of Ministers, addressing foreign ministers and representatives from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and of course Nepal. Oli called for enhanced cooperation among the 8 member countries. The ministerial meet will set the date for the next SAARC summit and select a new Secretary General for the body.
South Asia is emerging as a potential global economic powerhouse. It is imperative that we build on this economic progress and its associated positive synergies and complementarities to promote enhanced cooperation in line with the objectives of the SAARC.
Back home now, and Finance Minister Arun Jaitely today once again assured that the government will take strong action against Vijay Mallya for all his legal violations. He also assured that banks will go all out in recovering their dues from him. Meanwhile, the auction of one of Vijay Mallya's flagship properties, Kingfisher House in Mumbai, ended today with lenders failing to get any bids. Here are more details.
Headquarters of the long-grounded Kingfisher Airlines, owned by debt-ridden liquor baron Vijay Mallya, was put up for online auction on Thursday. The base price of the Mumbai-based property was set at 150 crore rupees. But the auction held by the State Bank of India could not garner any bids. Reports said the bidders found the base price too high. In a related development, former Chief Financial Officer of Kingfisher Airlines A. Raghunathan and former Chief Financial Officer of United Breweries Group Ravi Nedungari were questioned by Enforcement Directorate officials in Mumbai. Reacting to questions on what action the government proposed to take on Mallya, Finance Minister Arun Jaitly assured that the banks will recover every penny of loan given to him.
To say what I have to say, his facts are clear. It's pending in court. Every government agency, whether it's the taxation department or it's the investigative agencies, wherever he has violated the law, is going to take strong action. As far as the banks are concerned, I've found out the details from the bankers itself. I've been briefed that they are going all out to recover every penny of the last rupee that they can from him.
Jaitly also said the government was trying to address the problem of NPAs in sectors like steel, textile, highways and infrastructure, which are on account of economic slowdown. However, Jaitly said the real worry was cases involving misconduct on the part of individuals.
Where large amount of loans have been given in individual cases, and some of those people would have misconducted themselves. There may not be adequate sureties, and that's a source of worry. I think these cases need to be segregated from the rest of the cases which are on account of the sectoral slowdown.
Earlier this week, a Hyderabad court issued a non-bailable arrest warrant against Mallya and Raghunath in an alleged cheating case. Mallya, who is facing debt recovery proceedings from 17 banks led by the SBI, left India early this month. He hasn't disclosed his whereabouts. Kingfisher Airlines collapsed in 2013, leaving creditors, suppliers and employees unpaid. Reports say the airline owes banks nearly 9,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the World Sufi Forum in New Delhi today. Speaking at the event, the Prime Minister said that Sufism is one of the greatest contributions of Islam to this world. He also called terrorism a struggle against humanity, and the battle against terror should not be against any religion. The 4-day event, organized by the apex body of the Sufi Dargahs in India, is being attended by more than 200 Indian and international delegates, including spiritual leaders and scholars.
The world is one family. I believe in harmony with the message of Holy Quran that mankind were one community, then they differed among themselves.
Meanwhile, the Congress today claimed credit for the work done in the first half of the budget session. Party leaders pointed out in this regard that as many as 11 bills were passed in Rajya Sabha. Leader of the opposition in the upper house also raised questions on the foreign policy of the NDA government.
कांग्रेस पार्टी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है, वो लोगों के मुद्दे उठाती है और वो काम भी करना जानती है। इसलिए दोनों सदनों में जो रिकॉर्ड काम हुआ, उसके लिए अगर गवर्नमेंट शायद एक सदन में क्रेडिट लेने की कोशिश करेगी कि उसमें उनका बहुमत है, लेकिन दूसरे सदन में राज्यसभा में शायद कांग्रेस को बीजेपी से ज्यादा क्रेडिट लेना होगा, क्योंकि उनके बगैर एक भी बिल पास नहीं हो सकता।
Claiming credit for several bills passed in the first half of the budget session, the Congress on Thursday underlined amendments cleared by the upper house on the motion of thanks and Aadhaar bill.
ये दो अमेंडमेंट्स जो हमने राष्ट्रपति के अभिभाषण में जो लाई और आधार बिल में बिल अमेंडमेंट लाई, इससे ये सिद्ध कर दिया हमने एक तरीके से कि गवर्नमेंट को राज्यसभा को लाइटली नहीं लेना चाहिए। हम अपने अधिकार का पूरा इस्तेमाल करेंगे जब कभी भी ये गवर्नमेंट राज्यसभा की प्रेस्टीज को और उसकी पावर्स को कम करने की कोशिश करेगी.
Pointing out issues raised by party Vice President Rahul Gandhi in the Lok Sabha, the party also criticized the move to refer the citizenship issue against him to the Ethics Committee.
Blindly referred the case of citizenship of Rahul Gandhi to the Ethics Committee without any sense of judgment, without even making out a case.
The main opposition party also raised questions on the NDA government's foreign policy and also the Rafale deal with France. This is Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitly rejected the Congress's demand to cap the tax rate under GST in the Constitution Amendment Bill itself. He said that it would be difficult to accept the demand. Speaking at the India Today conclave, Jaitly hoped that the government will be able to pass the amendment bill for GST in the second half of the budget session.
The Congress party, now I read a statement, has only one issue about a constitutional cap, which is a little difficult to impact because neither are tariffs decided through constitutional amendments. In the GST, where centre and states decide together, the tariffs will be decided by the GST Council and therefore can't be decided by a constitutional cap. I think that's the only glitch that remains. I would still like the Congress party to come on board. And I can easily see, and this is going to happen in this phase of the biennial elections, the numbers are significantly changing. And in any case, I am reasonably confident that the numbers in the upper house now also are in favor of the GST.
Striking jewellers from across the country reached the national capital today. The agitation against the government's 1% excise duty hike on non-silver ornaments entered its 16th day today. More than 50,000 jewellers took part in a rally in New Delhi demanding a rollback.
Jewellers across the country held a protest at the Ramlila Maidan in New Delhi on Thursday. They were protesting against the 1% excise duty on gold and diamond jewellery imposed in the budget 2016-17.
ऐसी एक्साइज ड्यूटी का क्या फ़ायदा जब व्यापारी अपना व्यापार को खो देगा। पहले कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट ने एक्साइज ड्यूटी लगाई थी, उसे समझ में आया कि एक्साइज ड्यूटी ज्वेलर्स के ऊपर लगाने से उसके दुष्प्रभाव आएंगे, वो इम्प्लीमेंट करने में प्रॉब्लम आएगी, तो उन्होंने उसको रोल बैक कर दिया। वही काम अब एनडीए गवर्नमेंट ने किया है, तो उसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि ये ड्यूटी तो उनको वापस लेनी ही पड़ेगी। बट हमने दृढ़ निश्चय कर लिया है, जब तक ये एक्साइज ड्यूटी रोल बैक नहीं होगी, हम अनिश्चितकालीन हड़ताल पर रहेंगे।
Over 3 lakh jewellers are on indefinite strike for the last 16 days. It has caused the gems and jewellery sector losses of nearly 20,000 crore rupees. Meanwhile, the striking jewellers found support from Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Kejriwal wrote to Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking a rollback in the excise duty. He said the tax went against the NDA government's Make in India pitch.
जितनी कॉस्ट ऑफ कलेक्शन है वो रेवेन्यू से कहीं ज़्यादा होने वाली है। इसमें हैरेसमेंट और करप्शन के अलावा कुछ नहीं होने वाला। व्यापारियों का कहना है कि हम पैसा देने के लिए तैयार हैं, टैक्स देने के लिए तैयार हैं, लेकिन हैरेसमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए।
Finance Minister Arun Jaitly rejected the rollback request, saying the move is in preparation for unveiling of the goods and services tax.
क्योंकि हर वस्तु जीएसटी के दायरे में आती है, इसलिए ये उसकी तैयारी का है।
The government imposed an excise duty of 1% without input tax credit or 12% with input tax credit on articles of jewellery with a higher exemption and eligibility limits of 6 crore rupees and 12 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
BJP's Central Election Committee met in New Delhi today to discuss the upcoming West Bengal and Kerala Assembly elections. The party announced 194 candidates for West Bengal. For Kerala, the BJP is expected to announce candidates in the next 10 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Finance Minister Arun Jaitly attended the meeting. The committee discussed seat sharing and election preparations. Elections in West Bengal will be held in 6 phases between the 4th of April and 5th of May. The BJP is contesting in 246 out of the 294 assembly seats. In Kerala, 140 assembly constituencies will see polling on the 16th of May. Meanwhile, the Haryana government has stepped up security in many towns as the deadline issued by the Jat community to accept their demand for quotas ended today. The Jat community leaders had threatened to resume their agitation for quotas that saw widespread violence across the state last month. An alert was sounded in Rohtak, Hisar and other districts of Haryana amid fears of a repeat of the Jat reservation agitation. The district administration ordered the closure of schools and colleges from Thursday.
The basic responsibility lies with the government of Haryana because people believe that it was the BJP and Khattar government of Haryana which sponsored this agitation, which instigated people of one group against another group. So they are responsible or solely responsible for these unfortunate incidents. This is the responsibility of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. Khattar, to talk to every section of the society and work towards an amicable solution.
Meanwhile, INLD leaders from Haryana today protested outside the Punjab Assembly against the bill passed by it. Through the bill, the Punjab government aims to return the 3,928 acres of land near the Satluj-Yamuna link canal to the original landowners. However, INLD MLAs raised slogans against the governments in Punjab and Haryana and demanded that the bill be withdrawn. The legislators were also involved in a scuffle with security personnel outside the Punjab Assembly.
उसके ऊपर पंजाब की सरकार ने एक ऐसा निर्णय लिया, एक ऐसा बिल लेकर के आए जिसकी वजह से आज फिर कहीं ना कहीं कोई नया विवाद खड़ा हो गया और जिस ढंग से पंजाब सरकार ने बिल पास हुआ नहीं, अब तक बिल अब तक मंजूर नहीं हुआ। उससे पहले जो SYL नहर बनी हुई थी उस नहर को काटने का काम कर दिया, उस नहर में मिट्टी डालने का काम शुरू कर दिया। जो बिल इन्होंने आज लाने का काम किया उससे हमारे और इनके जो आपसी भाईचारे थे, जो हमारे और इनके आपसी रिश्ते थे, आज इन्होंने पूरी तरह से उनको तार तार कर दिया, आज इन्होंने तोड़ दिया। इससे ज्यादा असंवैधानिक काम आज तक किसी भी असेंबली में नहीं हुआ। ये देश में और हमारा हरियाणा प्रदेश के लिए आज एक काला अध्याय है और इस काला अध्याय के अंत करने के लिए इंडियन नेशनल लोकदल पार्टी किसी भी हद तक लड़ाई लड़ेगी।
All right, without a quick break here, we'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Rai. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
अपने को एक्सप्रेस करने के स्वतंत्रता बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशस राइट है।
फ्रीडम का अर्थ ये नहीं है कि किसी के डिफेमेशन तक जाए, हम राष्ट्रद्रोह तक जाए।
क्या जातिगत आरक्षण सही है?
जब तक सोसाइटी को सूट होने तक है तब तक वो बात ठीक है। यदि सोसाइटी को सूट नहीं होता है तो हमको कानून बदलना ही पड़ेगा।
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you some national news and latest. In fact, in the 2010 German bakery blast case, and the Bombay High Court today commuted the death penalty to life term for convict Himayat Beg. However, the court found Beg guilty of possessing explosive substances and forged documents. The court was delivering its verdict on a confirmation petition on a death penalty awarded to Beg. The confirmation petition was filed by the Maharashtra government, and Beg had filed the appeal challenging his conviction and the death sentence. Beg was awarded the death penalty for masterminding the German bakery blast that killed 17 people in Pune in 2010.
He has got life imprisonment. Let us read the entire judgment and we'll decide.
I think it will be a good case for us to go in appeal, and we are definitely going in appeal against this order. But still, under the circumstances, that's all I'll say. Under the circumstances, I welcome this judgment, and I think this will re-establish the faith of Indian people in Indian judiciary once again.
And now let's get you some more national news updates in Nationwide. The Odisha Assembly today witnessed repeated adjournments after Congress stalled the session over the petrol price hike, demanding a 1-hour discussion on the subject. The issue was first raised by the ruling BJD member Pratap Jina during 0 hour. The Congress later joined in, with party members rushing to the well of the House. The petrol price, in fact, was hiked by 3 rupees 7 paise per litre and 1 rupee 90 paise per litre of diesel last night. Nagpur police on Wednesday arrested 3 persons with 1 kilogram of cocaine. The crime branch detained 3 accused and recovered the contraband from their possession worth around 60 lakh rupees. Gujarat police today arrested 3 men in connection with the interstate kidney racket from Anand district. The case came to light only after 13 people from Pandoli village said that they were victims of a gang who lured poor people with the promise of getting jobs. The UP government has denied permission to AIMIM leader Asaduddin Owaisi to hold a meeting in Lucknow. Owaisi claimed the decision, slammed the decision, saying that the Samajwadi Party government was afraid of him as it had done nothing for minorities. International news, and the US has imposed fresh sanctions on North Korea after its nuclear test and satellite launch. The executive order signed by President Obama blocks certain transactions on property belonging to the North Korean government and to the ruling Workers' Party of Korea, and also imposes a trade ban. The new order is a significant stepping up of punitive measures by Washington after a US citizen was sentenced to hard labor by Pyongyang.
The US slapping fresh sanctions against North Korea. President Barack Obama signed a new executive order ratcheting up sanctions in retaliation for its recent nuclear and ballistic missile tests. The order freezes all North Korean government property in America and bans US exports to or investment in North Korea. The latest sanctions include those imposed by UN Security Council earlier this month and separate sanctions passed by Congress and enacted by the President in February. US says the country's leadership only had itself to blame for the sanctions, but China condemned them.
正如我在这个讲台多次说过，中国从来都是反对任何国家搞单边制裁。第二，我们在当前这个半岛的局势情况下，复杂敏感的局势情况下，我们反对任何可能。
The development comes amid already heightened tensions between the US and Pyongyang, after the North sentenced an American student to 15 years hard labor on Wednesday for severe crimes against the state. The US demanded release of its citizen Otto Warmbier, who was arrested for trying to steal a propaganda sign from a hotel while on a visit in January.
Now, despite official claims that US citizens arrested in North Korea are not used for political purposes, it is increasingly clear that the North Korean government seeks to use these US citizens as pawns to pursue a political agenda.
Tensions in Korean Peninsula are high after North Korea conducted a nuclear test and then launched a rocket that the West says employed banned ballistic missile technology. The US and South Korea are also holding their annual military drills this month, which routinely generates tension. But this year, North Korea threatened to launch preemptive nuclear strikes against the two allies. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, European leaders are meeting in Brussels to sign an agreement with Turkey that will stop migrants coming into Europe. There is no progress on a landmark proposal that was reached 10 days ago. European leaders are holding out on Ankara's key demands that include speeding up of EU membership talks and providing visa-free travel for Turkish citizens.
Cautious optimism in the air as European leaders meet in Brussels to finalize a deal with Turkey to ease the migrant crisis. The broad outlines of a likely deal was sketched 10 days ago. The proposed plan will see migrants arriving from Turkey to Greece sent back. For each returned Syrian, another Syrian in Turkey will be resettled in the EU.
Ich bin einigermaßen zuversichtlich, dass wir zu einer Einigung mit der Türkei heute und morgen kommen werden. Ich möchte noch einmal darauf hinweisen, dass die Verabredungen, die wir mit der Türkei treffen, die noch nicht ganz.
There are sticking points, including a demand for extra funds to help Syrian refugees in Turkey, as well as the issue of visa liberalization. Several countries are concerned that the Turkey deal could mean large-scale resettlement of Syrians in Europe. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has urged European Union states to do more.
Ich finde es schon bemerkenswert allerdings, dass es Länder gibt, die an der Umverteilung nicht teilnehmen wollen, zugleich aber die Verfahren kritisieren, die jetzt eingeleitet werden sollen. Da muss man schon selbst europäisches Recht.
Since January 2015, 1 million migrants and refugees have entered the EU by boat from Turkey to Greece. More than 132,000 have arrived this year alone. European leaders are desperate to make a deal in the hope of stemming the flow. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A Kurdish militant group claimed responsibility for Sunday's deadly attack in the Turkish capital Ankara, in which 37 people were killed. It said that the attack was a revenge for military operations in the mainly Kurdish southeast. The TAK party, which is an offshoot of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party or the PKK, had already said that it was behind another bombing in Ankara last month. Sunday's suicide car bombing took place in a busy commercial district and transport hub in the city centre. Meanwhile, in a related development, Germany closed its embassy in Ankara and its consulate and a school in Istanbul on Thursday, citing a credible threat of an imminent attack. With that, let's take you through some more events making news around the world in Global Buzz. Pakistan's Supreme Court has ordered the government to lift a travel ban on former military ruler Pervez Musharraf, paving the way for him to leave the country while awaiting trial. The decision was immediately welcomed by Musharraf's All-Pakistan Muslim League party. Musharraf was a part of the overthrow in a 1999 coup and ruled Pakistan until 2008, when he stepped down in the face of widespread opposition to his rule. China's national lawmakers have passed the charity law with 92.4% votes in its favor. The new law eases restrictions on the fundraising and operational activities of charity groups, promises tax benefits for the sector, and will tighten supervision on the internal management. The law stipulates how charities should be registered, giving approved charities more freedom in their operations. Charity groups and law experts have praised the law for responding to public concerns. People in Myanmar welcome the new president, wishing greater progress would be made in reform and development while maintaining peace and stability. Pin Chor from the ruling NLD, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, won the presidential election on Tuesday, becoming the country's new president for a 5-year term. Many residents have expressed their good wishes for the new president and look forward to the country's future development. And now let's get you all the latest from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Indian shuttlers HS Pranoy and Sameer Verma advanced to the pre-quarterfinals of the Swiss Open in Basel. 13-seed Pranoy defeated Germany's Lars Scheinzler 21-16, 21-13 to set up a meeting with 2010 Commonwealth Games silver medalist Rajiv Yusuf of England. Sameer notched up a stunning 21-19, 22-20 win over 4th-seeded Chinese Wang Zhengming. He will next take on Thailand's Tanong Sakes. In tennis, defending champion Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal reached the quarterfinals at the Indian Wells. Djokovic defeated Spain's Feliciano Lopez 6-3, 6-3 to set up a quarterfinal with Jo-Wilfried Tsonga of France. In another match, three-time champion Rafael Nadal eased past German teenager Alexander Zverev 6-7, 6-love, 7-5. He will next face Japan's Kei Nishikori in the quarters and could face Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. Coming into the home leg of the Champions League round of 16 with a 2-0 lead, Barcelona defeated Arsenal 3-1 to advance to the quarterfinals of the tournament with a 5-1 aggregate score. For Barca, the forward trio of Neymar, Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi scored a goal each, while Mohamed El Neni was the lone scorer for the Gunners. Bayern Munich overcame two quick goals from Juventus to win 4-2 in the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 encounter. Sitting at 2-2, Juventus scored early through Paul Pogba and Juan Cuadrado. Bayern scored through Robert Lewandowski and Thomas Müller in regular time before Thiago Alcantara and Kingsley Coman scored in extra time as Bayern reached the quarterfinals. And that's all we could pack in on the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.